Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hardcore Metal Detecting Radio. I'm Derek Asklar, and Craig Talley's on the line there. We'll be hosting the show tonight. I'm going to say hi to Paul Forsay. He's already on chat right there. I already screwed up, Craig. Instead of putting hello, everyone, I put hell, everyone. So I'm already cussing tonight. But yeah, it's been a long weekend so far for me. I had to go over to Orlando, Florida, and for business meeting kind of thing for the VFW post and auxiliary there, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and yeah, it's pretty good. We had a big meeting there and everything. Got to see a lot of the people I don't get to see very often, and so that went pretty good. But I had to drive back through that traffic all the way back here, and I was glad I got here pretty quick. So, but at any rate, yeah, I mean, we're kind of going through a lot of stuff right this minute. And Craig, I'll let you talk about it because it happened to you, just to kind of give them the heads up on what's with that person, and that way they know that it's not you doing anything. How's that sound?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pause my mic for a minute because I got to go get my charger cord. I'm unprepared.
Yeah, a little while ago, a couple hours ago, I got all these messages. All of a sudden, I realized I got hacked, and this guy was sending screenshots of my friends, and it said it was a video, but it wasn't. And it was sending it to all, and so it got to about 40 of my friends at least before I started trying to reassure everybody it was a hack. And I blocked the guy and everything, and he had just become a friend. And so when I'd looked on his page, I reset my password and all that, and I looked on his page, and there was another guy that had become a friend too, and that's how he got on the page. Got friends with me, and they're both from South America, I believe. Well, that's what I don't know. It could be an alias or whatever, but anyway, they sent me a message right before that they knew I would block them or something somehow, and the guy was mentioning something about the UN and all the pretty pictures, and so I started. There was a scam. 2 years ago, I got a friend request from a guy that I already had a friend from, and I thought, well, maybe something happened. He messed up his account or something and got a new one. And I didn't think about it, and then I get a message from him, and he's saying that he just got $90,000 from this fund that they give to people from Facebook and Facebook. I think it was that, and the UN, United Nations. So anyway, I couldn't figure out this thing. I finally found out you had to send them $1,000 to take care of, and then they would transport the money to you. And I even asked them if they, could you get it in cash? Oh yeah, you can get it in cash. And so, I kind of led them on for a while, and then, I ended up reporting everything. And there's been about maybe 6 more times. I catch it right away now after the first time, but they say, "Have you heard of this fund from Facebook or UN or something like that?" And it's a scam.
Yeah, okay, I'm back. I'm back, Craig. Yeah, I got a message from Craig, or I thought, he was telling me, "Is this your video?" I don't know how far you got in this whole thing, but I was like, I texted Craig. I said, "Did you send me this? Did somebody get one of my videos?" And like, I had one of them. 3 years ago, Craig got one of my videos and was able to, I guess, download it and used some of my footage and stuff and what I was saying to make a really distasteful video, just being mean, like a cyberbully kind of thing. and I had to ban him from a bunch of stuff and everything. And it really ticked me off is because he took just a regular video and try to make. I think it was against somebody else. Really, is what he did it for. But it just really ticked me off. Just there's enough crap in the world going on without having to deal with that kind of stuff. And but yeah, I got with Craig and I was like, "Is this you?" And he goes, "No, man, that's that guy that was messing with trying to get my friends list or whatever it was." And
I just got a message, and I'm reading that the guy says, "I don't want to open this. What's on the video?" And I said, "Sorry, it was hacked. This was like 2 o'clock this afternoon." Mm-hmm. Then he goes, "I just got another suspicious video. I'm not opening either. I didn't open yours. Thanks."
It won't open anyway.
No, it's the same guy.
Yeah. Exactly. And how do you go after these guys? I mean, you can't. I mean, it's like they're sitting in some other country or something.
I couldn't get onto his Facebook page, but I got on, where I could. There was a thing that came up, and it says, block him or block Messenger. And when you block Messenger,
Gavin's saying,
you take him out. So then I was able to go on and, unfriend him too. And then I sent messages to Facebook about this guy, and I said I was hacked.
Yeah.
So then they checked it, and I guess they know. I don't know.
Well, if Gavin's on here saying, yeah, he's probably been hacked. I'm thinking I have been hacked also, or something like that. And it just, it's not really anybody's.
It doesn't seem to be anything,
malicious. Yeah,
like
just annoying.
Yeah, I mean, nothing opens or anything. He just sent message. He sent at least to about 40 people that were my friends.
Yeah, and it's this doesn't have to do with metal detecting, but it does because we all. We use social media and stuff like that, talk to each other, do the radio shows, all this stuff, and it deals with metal detecting or treasure hunting, whatever. And we don't, and I always ask people, like, if I get something from, like Bill Marsh, and it something doesn't seem right or it's not, spelled right, you know what I mean? It just doesn't, it's fictitious looking. I just, message your buddy or text them and say, "Hey, is this you?" It gives them the heads up. Because I clicked on it before I even talked to Craig, and I was like, well, it wasn't linking up, so that's a good thing. But I also run a Mac. I usually don't have these, kind of issues. But see, you're running Apple, and he tried to do it to you. Maybe that's what stopped it. I don't know. But yeah, it's been a problem for a long time. Craig, I never could figure out why, other than wanting to get the friends list and stuff. But it's like we're pretty selective anymore. On the Facebook pages, and even when we had a forum and stuff, that about eliminating people that are spammers or whatever. And usually you can tell. You click on their Facebook page, guys, and if it's somebody that's interested in metal detecting or what you're posting up finds and stuff, and you don't have a photo of them, or you look at the profile and it says, so and so changed his, photo or whatever, his avatar, and it's a picture of a woman. You know what I mean? Stupid things like that. Just don't friend them. Just mark them as spam. I'm serious.
Guy that says him,
yeah, it has the wrong picture. Yeah, or there's no history really. I mean, you do have people that are getting on Facebook, but
if there's no photo or something there, delete.
Yeah, I look at their friends list. A lot of the ones, Craig, I'll click on it.
I don't even do that. I just if somebody isn't going to show their photo or something,
right? Well, if I see a metal detector in their photos, or some finds they've made, or some kind of history to them, and I'll look at it says 44 mutual friends. Well, I'll touch on that, put my the cursor whatever on it, and it'll list them out. If I see Craig Talley or Bill Marsh or Gavin or what somebody that I know in the hobby, well then I'm more apt to click add a friend. Or add them as a friend or whatever. If I don't see anybody I know, I just automatically pretty much, no, because it's just such a problem. You never know where they're from. I think this guy was from South America, but you don't even know that because people, look at the telemarketers that are the people that give these robocalls for, your car insurance and, I had a good one the other day, Craig. I thought it was hilarious when I heard it. I let all the guys at the Post hear it. He said, this is Officer so-and-so. So he's impersonating an officer, police officer anyways. But anyways, we got to inform you that if you don't take care of these problems that we're going to tell you in a few minutes, that your Social Security card will be suspended. How in the heck do you suspend a Social Security card? You're going to take my citizenship away now? They heard that and they rolled. And, because if it had been said driver's license or something like that, it's like, really. And I'm getting these kind of phone calls, and, I'm wanted in Canada's looking for me, and Europe, and I must be a bad guy, Craig. I don't know. I haven't even, other than stopping at Heathrow and going on to Bulgaria. I've never even been to the UK. So, yeah, you get all kinds of them, but I guess there's a way that you can call, like I have through Straight Talk through AT&T, and one of my friends was telling me, I guess you can call AT&T and they can actually block a lot of these people, because I get 10 to 15 a day easily on both my cell phone and my house phone, to the point where I put my cell phone on just vibrate, and what gets me is when they fill your voicemail box up. Because when you guys call me or something, you don't have any room to leave me a message or whoever. Because they fill it up. And that's the kind of stuff that annoys me. I mean, I don't know why they can't stop them. Because the phone numbers are fake. They're not even the right numbers. I mean, if it's not like it doesn't have an area code or whatever, how in the world are they getting through to you? And then you try to call back and it says it's a non-working number. That's what bumfuzzles me or whatever. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that word. It was accidental. But at any rate, yeah, it's a mess. And you try to, with all of the posting that we do, or everybody does. I mean, like on Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff of, posting up fines, posting up whatever, you're eventually going to have to deal with these people at some time. I mean, you can ban them. Or unfriend them and ban them. And like if you have a forum, you can actually ban them and their IP address. That helps a lot too. We've had to do that a couple of times in the past. Me and Craig will just block them on everything, because I don't want you guys having to deal with it either. And that's the biggest fear that we had when we had the forum, and we had people that were trying to sell fake IDs and all kinds of crazy stuff, and I call them the Hoochie Mama Brigade. That you get all of the the photos and stuff, and wanting to be your friend type thing. So we'd block those. It's a racket. I can imagine. You worry about your kids. And my kids are older now, but even when they were younger, about who is able to get on Facebook. You have to monitor your own kids, because you can't just let them get anywhere, Craig. It seems like on the internet, because there's so many freaks out there. It's just it's just a doggone problem that I don't know how they'll stop. I don't think they'll ever be able to stop it. I think it's with all.
Well, they're kind of alert. I think the kids, they're the ones that are growing up in it are kind of going to have to deal with it, one way or the other. It's like a lot of older people that, they were asking me, and I'm old,
Yep.
They were trying to figure out what the heck is going on, and I was trying to explain to them, and, I said, that people are always, trying to do some kind of angle, to game the system.
Well, let me tell them now, Craig. Craig and I are not rich. We don't have a lot of money. We're not worth hacking, so just leave us alone.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stole my identity, it might help my credit score. I mean, honestly. Oh,
yeah, somebody called me one time, and I said, about money, and I said, I only go give money to the Craig Talley Foundation.
Yeah. My mom says that still to this day. She'll get these people that call up, "Oh, donate to this or donate, whatever under." She goes, "I have my own association that I donate to and I donate to my son." She goes, "Well, I did buy you lunch the other day." I said, "No, you did, Mom." "Well, I'm donating to the cause." So I had to laugh at that a little bit, but yeah, everybody's getting them and everything. But yeah, not to stay on that topic or anything. We just, Craig wanted you guys to know. I wanted you to know that, if you get these weird kind of things that seem strange, just don't even mess with it. And, it goes for every. And that's what's really hard too, Craig, is because we have people from around the world that do listen to the show. I mean, Japan, everything else. It's kind of like being extra careful because I don't want to upset somebody by not friending them or whatever on Facebook or stuff. So, and the translation thing too. It gets sometimes very hard when we get a translation. It's not exactly what you were trying to say, or if I'm sending something back to you. So there's that confusion thing. You want to make sure that you're not not friending somebody because you think that they're a spammer and they're not. So
Yeah.
It's probably problems everybody has. And we have to be extra careful, and because I don't want to upset somebody.
It doesn't happen that often, and I've had to ban 2 people off of Facebook, same 2 off Facebook and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all metal detecting related, and but I had to block them and do but other than that, I've never, I don't remember blocking too many people.
Mm-hmm.
I've blocked a few spammers on Facebook and stuff. But
Bill's on here talking about the. So Derek, tell them tell them it may be easy to find you, but they have to deal with Loki first. And yeah, if you can get past my dog to get to my front door, then you got to deal with about an arsenal coming at you. But I don't think you're going to make it to the door. Oh gosh, I really don't worry about that kind of thing. I live in a good enough area. Pretty fortunate that way. We live in a good, decent neighborhood. I mean, we have some freaky stuff that happens once in a while, but we're a lot more fortunate than like being in a city or something where you just obviously don't have the quiet evenings and stuff like that. So when something does happen, I mean, you're more apt to hear it out here. Of course, I don't worry. The dogs are very well behaved, but they will let me know if anybody's even close to the property line. They're automatically either just giving a low growl or something like that. And actually, my little Chihuahua dog, Boo Boo, man, I tell you, he hears me coming. I think like from the main road, it's like a half a mile away. And Pauline says his ears will perk up, and then the next thing you know, about 2 minutes later, you're pulling in the driveway. And so he heard the vehicle already. He's getting all excited. So it's kind of neat to know that he has such a good. Here we've got a caller here. Hang on. Hey, you're live on the air. Who do we have there? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Anybody there?
Yep.
Anybody out there?
What's
going
Hey,
on?
Tim, what's happening, Tim?
Oh, I'm doing good. I just, I was trying to figure out how in the world do I get in to the program, but I can't really understand how to get in there.
Oh,
Well, you found out the hard way. You're already in.
Yep. You're already on the show.
Already on there. Everybody's going, oh, my, who is this guy?
This is Mr. Tim Glick.
Yeah, Tim.
Tim Glick there. I haven't talked to you in a long time, Tim.
How's
Oh,
that,
yeah.
how's that ORX doing?
Oh, you still there, Tim?
Hold on. I wanted to hear something and see if you could hear it. And, I'm sitting here going, okay, now can I hear you? Can you hear me now?
You need to get a little closer to the microphone.
Okay. How's that?
Get right up on it.
Or speak up a little louder.
Yeah, or you speak up a little louder or get closer to it. Yep.
I could go, everybody, this is the Junk Man.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn them up a little bit more. So what have you been up to, Tim?
Well, we've been, I got my partner back, and he moved up here in the Central Ohio area, and so we're going to be dangerous. So I don't know. It's Chris, and I don't want to say everybody's last name, but Chris has come back to Ohio, and he came from Pennsylvania. So we got plans this year, so hopefully we can maybe get out of one of those old sites, maybe get into a new site. I don't know. We'll see.
It's sometimes hard finding those new sites, Tim. Believe me, I deal with it down here too, and it you go back to the same old sites over and over again, and you're cleaning them up good and everything, but man, it sure is nice to get a new site. It opens it all up again.
Well, yeah, well, one of the things is with the hobby is like, enjoying this hobby for what it is, and you really get to a point where you enjoy every little part of it, not just the silver or the gold, but actually, some of the best junk I ever found was probably horseshoes. But, as Craig understands, I love horseshoes.
Yeah, Tim, can you talk closer to the microphone? They're still having a little bit of hard time hearing you.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of sitting there going, how do I, because I put this blue tube, whatever it is, to try to hear, but I don't know if it's maybe because I've got something not turned on right. So,
okay.
No, that makes it better or not?
That makes it worse. Wow. All right, that made it a little bit worse, Tim. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I got you right there. Perfect. That's right there is perfect. You still there? Oh, now we don't have him at all.
Yeah, it's not perfect at all.
It was perfect for a split second there, sounding good. He might get it figured out. Those Bluetooth things, some of these, things get real, I don't know, Craig, finicky.
Yeah, that's why I like having this wired headset.
Right.
Yeah, nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of like I had my headset for my metal detector one time. Plug it in there, and it something inside of the metal detector. It wasn't the one I have now, but it had somehow a rock or something, piece of wood, got down into that port where you plug your headset into, and it wasn't making contact, and I couldn't figure it out. And actually I took the machine apart, and all of a sudden this piece of wood came out, like a wood chip or something, and it was keeping the quarter-inch outlet part of it. Hang on a second. Answering this call. Okay. I don't know. Tim, do we have you there, brother?
Hey, I'm trying.
Oh, I know you are.
Yeah, I just, I've got this Bluetooth on, and I just don't know how I'm trying to do this. Sometimes I understand all this technology.
Yeah, when you
hear me that way?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah,
right?
that's better.
Okay.
Good. Okay, we got you fine. Now, brother.
I hate to, just kind of crash your show, but if you,
no.
Craig says, hey,
fine.
call you sometime, Yep. It's all about all of us having the dream and getting out here and having a great time. That's the big part of it. It's not never about this or that. Yeah. And so exciting. I'm really excited this time because, my daughter is pregnant and I get to be a grandpapa.
Congratulations,
I'm excited
brother.
about that.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, that's a big thing for us.
That's a
really,
good thing.
Really, thank y'all. Yeah, appreciate that. It's just like I said, it's hot out down here, or up. I guess it's up or over up here in Ohio. I got out yesterday. Not a lot of great finds, but a 1950 peddler's helper. I've never seen one.
I don't think I have either.
I don't. Yeah, it's a peddler helper. Back then, they had to have some kind of tax, didn't they?
Yeah, I sure did.
Oh, man.
And you get a card.
Yeah.
A big old brass card, it says, "Hey, look, I'm a peddler, helper."
Yeah.
So, anyway, I just, wanted to say hey to everybody, and I'm going to try to get involved as much as I can. I think that I found out that my brain is starting to come back a little bit more and more. But yeah, so anyway.
Hey, do you have? I heard. Well, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Some of the guys on here, Mark Hoover's on, and Bill Marsh, Ohio Relic Hunter, and they're all, "Hey, it's Tim. What are you up to, brother? What do you, do you have a Facebook page and stuff like that you want, or a YouTube channel you want to say something about? That's up to you.
Well, yeah, I'm not big into trying to promote myself. I am at heart, I am, XP Team USA member.
Yes, sir.
And, I try to promote XP Deus, but, when that all is said and done, I love the hobby, and, whether you run a Knox or any other machine, it's still about the love of the hobby. And,
exactly.
By no means do I know, I don't know everything. I've kind of learned my XP Deus the hard way, like people like Craig, for all the things that he helped. As we've talked hours about metal detecting and the ins and outs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember that. That was when when we first got him. Remember that? And
oh
we were
yeah.
having a little bit of. I had, we kind of learned together almost on that, because it was so new. But you really came a long way. You started hearing those tweaks. That's what really made the difference. You started listening more.
And
Well,
Tim, you could talk about all that stuff anyway. So
you were a numbers guy. You wanted those numbers.
Well, there's any way that you can do metal detecting and get it easy for yourself, and then understanding hearing. Hearing is all different for all different people. One of the things, and I don't want to over, my thing is the enjoyable parts of it. Doing it kind of the right way. Most machines are pretty close to each other. There's obviously going to be a better one, but I'll be honest, and everybody goes, well, what's different than this one versus that? Well, I really like that 2-pound machine. When we were out, and I know Craig always thought that, that big, and I don't want to push anybody's thoughts about, if it's heavy's heavy, light's light, wireless, all the kind of things. Everything is always trying to get better.
Right.
And, that I see.
We have a saying here that every metal detector will find you something. It's all a lot of preference, what you're using and everything. And you don't ever have to worry about, talking about anything that you're doing, Tim, or whatever you want. You're talking amongst friends, and that's the way it is on this show. So you feel free to plug whatever you want to, because heck, we've known you for a long time, and I got to hunt with you up there for a while, and that was a lot of fun up there in Ohio. That was kind of neat. They even found that kilt or that tomahawk thing. That was cool.
Yeah, but, well, and yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead, Tim. I coughed. My mute button. I try to stay away from it because I'll mute it and it won't go off, and I'll be talking to myself.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed you coming up, and obviously when we were out, it was kind of like, the weather or something is always kind of changing, or and it's funny that you say that site that I took you out to, and I don't know how many more things that I found out there. You know, everybody thinks that places are hunted out, and they're not.
Nope.
And you know, every you know, if you got more opportunity to get in and out and go and do it, keep at it. You know, you'll get better at everything, and not just that. You know, changing out your all around. Oh, I got to change this frequency, or you know, try something a little different. You know,
right.
Some days the hearing could be different. You know, it doesn't mean that. And now I'm starting to see that all of us know where all the plot maps are. I mean, that is kind of a given now.
Right.
Now I've lost about, well, maybe 60 to 70 pounds.
Wow.
And
dude,
now I can get across these fields, you know, and, you know, you got to get out there and do that 100 acres because, see, I give you a little thing about that. Those high spots and water is a big deal. And I, you know, if you're willing to take the time to get out there, a lot of these big farms like in Ohio and stuff, you got maybe 10, 11, 12 kids, and I don't know how that got done that way, but anyway, about everybody that was from the farm, usually they weren't very far away. And
right.
if you came in Ohio, they started out like 1,000 acres, split them, and then as they kept splitting down, you know, I mean, I've seen. I guess what I'm saying is there are a lot of sites out in these fields. Not every high spot is a spot, but I bet you a lot of times when you hit that spot, and it really depends if it's going to be a log home or it's going to be a little better. You'll see when you see your red brick or your pottery and stuff like that, but you got to get out there.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
So that's my managing. You know, I'm trying to manage more sites, run more stuff. But again, you know, you would think if you got lots of places to hunt, you still don't mean that you're as good as you think you are because it seems like you can't get enough of it to find everything you're looking for. But yeah, you keep at it.
Oh yeah, and you know, Tim, we saw that over there when you took me to that one site that I think there was an old school there or something like that. And, you know, you told me I've hit this a lot, but we still found stuff. And, you know, I found that jewelry, and it was kind of bling jewelry from way back. But it was still finding something. You just never know what you're going to dig out of the ground. And I've always considered these sites that are, people say have been haunted out. Well, at the time that they said this or the rumor started, it may have been 10 or 15 years ago. Well, the technology has changed so much, and we do have options, frequency changes, and the discrimination's better, and the metal detectors get deeper. And so a site never really dies. It just, you know, as technology gets better, you're going to find more stuff, and you may have not gone over that certain spot, you know, and all of a sudden it's available now or something. So yeah, you're right. You know, these sites aren't hunted out.
Well, yeah, and I noticed that, you know, one of the things that I remember the most, and it's not about certain things, but I had this one site, and I'm still running this site, and a lot of foil still on it, but yep. I actually have changed. A lot of times, you know, you get in kind of a deal where you decide that you want to hunt, and you've been really very well, you know, everything. Like, what I want to say is, like, say you get into like the 12 or 13, 14 kilohertz kind of thing on and you know, obviously everybody knows I run Deus, so you know, when they came in with an X35 coil, you know, they had some ships on some things, but it also changed. You know, they have been pumping it up more and more and more. And I know Craig asked me, he says, what do you think about the ORX? Well, the thing with ORX is they wanted to make a machine cheaper, and for the average guy that he doesn't need to have every little bell and everything. But then if you had bought the Deus, the original Deus, and then, why would you get the lower end? And, the thing is because a lot of days I can take the ORX now and it has just a 3-tone set, and a lot of people aren't know this. You can change that power up to really high. A lot of guys on the Deus can run 95. Well, ORX, you can run 98.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of looking at some of the higher stuff, but I don't know what that means. I'm a simple guy, so what are we all saying? X35 coils with a ORX with those changes. I've been running the elliptical. Yesterday, I was running in a little field where I found the gold coins out of, and I'm going through there and I'm hitting stuff that I never hit before because there's still so much up above. You're still missing mask items, and I know Craig knows that. So if you have another tool to solve if I can get that dirt gold coin, then I'm just really going to be more happy.
I'm still searching for one, Tim.
Well, believe me, I will say luck, and luck. But
yep.
I will say this: pull tabs. If you're not pulling out pull tabs and foil, you're not going to find as many more things. That's just my thought. I don't know.
Oh, no, you're right, Tim. I mean, we did a test over at the beach one time, and Mike Miller down here, he's a friend of mine down south of me, and we were using an Explorer, Minelab Explorer, I think it was, and he actually showed me, he goes, when you hear people say they don't like digging pull tabs on the beach, or square tabs, I'm sorry. He said, I got two targets here, tell me what you think they are. And I went over. Of course, I don't have a screen. I said, "Well, yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me, Tim?"
Hello.
I think we lost you. Yeah. Well, I was going to tell Tim. He's talking about the gold and the pull tabs. Well, the platinum gold ring, women's platinum gold ring, reads up a 15 on the meter. And, I was able to, I was hearing it, and he goes, well, I'm glad you dig that because that's it comes up just like a square tab. The platinum gold and everything comes up just like a square tab. So, yeah, if you're not digging pull tabs, you're going to miss gold. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And, yeah, I just, I keep, just with the hobby, I just keep trying to get a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And, that's a big part of the hobby. And, when you find certain things, you just never know what you're going to find. I mean, that's what this hobby is about. So,
yeah, I was telling him that we, when I was over at your place, and, you're just like me and Craig with the finds and everything. You have them here, have them there, and it's like you have a room of them. And, it's neat to see even the stuff that, Tim, you know what I'm talking about when I say, it's great to find coins and jewelry and stuff like that. But sometimes the other items, the relics, it might be an iron this or, copper that, brass, whatever. They're still unique. They still got character. And a lot of times I like those better, even though they're not so-called worth as much. But the neat stuff you find, it's treasure anyway. When you think about it, you're saving it. So that's the way I look at it. I mean, everybody likes to find a silver coin, believe me. But we find.
But yeah, I don't want to I was kind of saying something that I thought when you said coins. One of the I will give you a kind of one thing that I want to say that I think you guys maybe have heard me say this before. I got a book one time, and it had a place, and it was a farm. My mom and dad's got a farm up north, and I went to. Long story short, I got a book about the county, a county book, and I noticed that the book was being sold at one of these like farm sales and stuff, and I knew the people that were close to the area. And anyway, I got this book, and it had it all kind of like little name parts and little notes, and I started reading it. Well, I found out that the guy next to our farm, that the guy was in the Civil War, and he was in the 20th OVI, and then as I started to get the research on that, doing it, and then I got permission to go over it where the house was.
Mm-hmm.
And the coolest thing I ever got to do was when I started finding, I found some general buttons from the Civil War, and then I knew what year he was. I knew he lost his leg, and then I started finding out that he knew he had 2 boys and a daughter, and then there was another. I found the 3 coins were all holed, and it was the years of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that was, when you can do research on something, get coins. Now, you're not going to be able to say, oh, yeah, but when you say that the date was, 1872, and her date was 1872, the boy was 1866, and, there was the other boy, same date, it was another date, and then I couldn't find that. I got this third quarter, seeded quarter, I think it was in 1858.
Wow.
And I was like, I never really could figure out what that date meant, but I saw 3 dates and I thought that was pretty great.
Oh, yeah.
So when you can find something, that's the kind of stuff I like doing, dates and numbers, and if you can get something with a name on it, that's great, And then, of course, the gold coin that I got, which I've been trying to do research on that, it was a love token. It was a $2.50 gold piece that was 1861 and had her name on it.
That's cool.
And that's another side. And the gold coin is worthless in the sense of value per se, and it was made so that we were trying to figure out, did he carry it or did she carry it, and then trying to find that he ended up north at a retirement, and then she died in 1916, and one of the gold coins was 1914D, and she had put all of her stuff in the house, and when they demolished the house, all that stuff spread all through the area. It's been 7 years, and I've been finding all of her, the whole big pot of stuff. But a lot of people didn't realize that the gold coins that I had, people were questioning those gold coins because they had rust on them. Well, when you pull gold in and it is in water and it is in a can, like some kind of tin can, and the rust, I mean, I could clean the rust off the gold coins.
Right.
But the whole thing is I don't want to clean them up because I found them that way.
Exactly.
And that's so.
That makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah. So, you get lucky and you keep, too many times, and I know Craig has always said some things we always said. What was that story we always talked about? Something about the gold, the silver. I don't want to say anything bad, how this world is anymore, but all those silver people that want to just find the silver. Well, good thing for you guys, but I like doing more of the.
Right.
I'm saying the word. I try not to be. I'm trying to be good. I don't drink anymore, so I talk too much. But I've been sober for 4.5 years, so I've changed my ways.
So you're sort of talking about those guys that try to rape your sight of silver, don't you?
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's unfortunate this hobby, and I don't see that as everybody, but it's similar. It's only as good as your sight is what people all kind of think about other people. Is that I give you all the opportunity to go metal detector with me, but yet they never call you to go metal detector with them.
Yeah.
And so, and you don't want to be drama. Nobody wants to be a drama queen or, say, hey, but, the hobby is supposed to be for fun.
That's right.
It's not about, oh, God, I got 55 Indians, and look how good I am.
Right. Right.
I love you to death, but, I'm not going to.
Well, it becomes that it's that competitive side, Tim. And Craig and I talk about that sometimes on the show. It's about having fun. That if you're not, every metal detector will find you something. If you can't afford a $2,000 metal detector, then whatever one you have will have to do, and you can get really good with it. I mean, I've seen guys that can afford a really expensive metal detector, but they like the detector they have because they've learned it so well, and they do very good with them. I mean, and it's not about, as long as you have fun doing it, because if you're not having fun, what are you doing? You're working. And I don't like having that feeling of work. I want to be out there to enjoy myself. So, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well, well, and you can't, I don't push an agenda. I don't even push XP. I like the machine. If there's a better machine, I'll go to another machine. It's not about the money. It's not about any kind of thing. It's just, man, we all know that when we're out of the site and we're enjoying the day, and you got that feel that, man, I might get lucky today. I mean, but I'm still enjoying what I'm doing, and all the other stuff. I've gone all different. We all know where we like to do things at. I'm a field hunter. I love field hunting because I'm not a precise dig a hole in somebody's,
front yard,
house site. Oh yeah, God, I just saw one. That's terrible. and, I mean, I've been there, done that. I mean, damn, I don't want to do that. But and then I just like, the goal is that I hate doing it, but I do it very well with it. Is I go to the trashiest damn site because you know why that is. When you can find stuff under that trash, and you can get through it a little bit better, then you will. All the people that decided that they didn't want to go to that site, they went on.
That's right, brother.
And so I kind of stuck on those places. And, I will tell you this, that one site that I talk about now, it has found so many things out of that place. And when it started, nobody would hunt with me there. And that particular place, I found those 2 gold coins and all those jewelry and the whole. I mean, it's a really a nice cache of stuff, and it was because once I kept staying there and hunting it, and I'm still finding stuff. And again, you keep moving, but yet you come back to them.
Oh, and, yeah.
I probably. It's just what it is. I mean, I don't want to bore anybody. I thought that I would get on here because I thought you guys wanted me to. I kind of felt like I needed to talk to somebody, so I did.
Oh man, anytime, Tim. You call in here anytime you want to, brother. But is that site? Oh, go ahead, Greg.
I've been telling Tim to call anytime he wants.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. You know, Tim, is that site that you were hunting that you're talking about? Is it the one you took me to where you have a nail every 2 inches? Is that the site you're talking?
I can't really tell. You know, I've taken you a couple places. Yeah, there was one place that that had.
At the time, all you found was like Indian head. Yeah, you told me all you found was 2 Indian heads, and they were like an inch down. And guys, you know, I was going to explain this place, Craig. It was so irony, and he was using a XP, and I was using. Well, he brought the Bliss tool too, but you know, it didn't matter. It was just, It was so trash. And I'm like you, Tim. Give me the trash, because that shows that there was activity there. There had to have been something there. If you're digging all these nails and all this other stuff, there's got to be good stuff there too. You know what I mean? Especially on a house site like that. So yeah, give me the trash. I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, it's just, you know, you got to keep trying and don't just say, well, I don't like it. You know, change your settings, change something. You know, I don't know. I've noticed that you can grid things. You know, a lot of people don't really grid right.
Right.
And I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. I just, you know, you grid things, you come back, you grid it a couple different ways, and then I think, well, I'm tired of doing this. Let's go to the next spot, and then on and on, and then it's funny. The biggest thing's always funny about this whole stuff. I have gone to a place, hunted the thing out of it, and then, you know, one thing that I've told a story about is those gold coins. You know, I went one place, the first gold coin that I found out of that site, I've been in that site for 7 years, and I've gone through the same place for 7 years, going every different machine that ever had that I had hunted with. And when I came through there with the Deus, now I'm not going to say Deus overdid something else, but I do know that I like the recovery of a Deus. It's so fast, but
right.
I'm not selling it. But the thing was, I went and I hit that, and if any of you guys ever see that, where I've taken some pictures, there was a can in there, there was all kinds of slaw, and there was some nails and pull tabs. There was everything was in there with that gold coin.
Right.
And when I came through there, I could hear a tone that was different, but yet you could hear the kind of the wang of something, but understanding that, you know, and that gold coin was about 6 to 7 inches deep.
Right.
And when I flipped it up, I saw it and I thought, damn, is that what I think it is? That can't be right. But when I found it, but the point that I was really saying isn't about finding that, but I hunted that site all around that, thinking, okay, I'm going around there for probably 5 weeks straight in the area.
Yeah.
Couldn't hit anything. 6 months later, to the date, about 5-6 feet from that site, different in, I think it was in the fall, and then the spring, I came back in there on the spring, and 6 months later, I hit that other gold coin. No idea. How did I miss that? How did, I changed? I couldn't tell you.
Right.
So, I'm never going to think it's just, it's amazing what you can get into and not know what the hell you're doing while you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, when I hunted with you, Tim, it was fun because you hunt a lot like Craig and I do. You're pretty methodical in the way that, the way you find stuff. I remember, and for the life of me, I can't remember if the item was a quarter or a penny. But remember, one of the last places I hunted with you at, was kind of in it. I can't remember what the town was. It doesn't really matter, but it used to be an old school there, and it was something else. It was a park or something, and we'd been hunting, and we were coming back to the car, and I think you had a signal, and you're like, well, check this out. You had a Deus, and I had the bliss tool. It doesn't really matter, but and he go, man, I think this is a quarter. And I come over, and we're just horsing around, guys. So, I go over with the bliss tool. I said, Tim, I think that's a penny. It's a quarter. It's reading up this. And I don't have a screen or nothing. I said, Tim, I'm hearing a nuance in there. I think it's copper. And we discussed it, I think, for a good 10 minutes before we even dug it. And I can't remember what it was. And I think it was a penny, but it was just neat the way that the depth and, but being able to find, I think it was 8 or 9 inches down. And both detectors were hitting it just fine, and it's just neat that they both were hitting it, no problem, but it was just off just a little bit. It was just nice to have that. That's the kind of competitive stuff I like. It's not. It doesn't mean nothing one way or another, but it's just neat to see skills. And you got some mad skills, brother. I mean, I've hunted with you. I know. You get in there.
I don't know about that.
I think so. With that Deus, you're pretty vicious with that Deus. And I know you've been learning it and this and that, and over the years. But you spend a lot of time with it, man. You got the determination to learn it. And I'll tell you. Well, I told you then. I said, you were letting me use another set of headphones while you were using. You had the 2 sets, and that was educating me about the Deus because I hadn't even used one before, but I like the way that those I can see what you were talking about then.
You can actually do that.
Yeah,
that you can actually do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tim was telling me about that one.
I got Chris come up, and if you see my last video, I've got video on XP Team USA. If you guys want to see that,
sure.
Or you can try to look me on my Facebook, but. One of the things that a couple of people that I've taught people how to use the Deus is that you can have 2 sets of Deus headphones, like they have a WS5 headphones, and then you can have your WS4 headphones, and you can match them together. And so, like if I wanted to take, say like yesterday, I had Chris. And so he has never run a Deus. And so I said, well, I got a Deus. I got an extra Deus. And I needed somebody to help me out to do it. So he's going to start running the Deus. So I've got it all set up. So I can wear the WS5 headphones, and he can have the WS4s, and they can be, and I can turn it all up, and I can hear everything he's got running. And I can tell Chris, I says, that's an iron. You hear that? And I says, can you hear it? And a lot of people don't really understand how Deus, the coils run. And like I say, I'm not an expert. Don't anybody think I know anything. I'm just from hard knocks.
Yeah, a school of hard knocks.
Hard knocks. Yeah.
Yep.
You swing, you keep swinging. You don't stop.
Right.
See, a lot of people want to slow down and then kind of stop like, oh, okay, now you're going to get it back. No, you got to keep it running.
Yep.
And when you run and then you come different directions, and then you can hear that because it's so fast that it's that quick that you can just kind of like miss that tone, and then you kind of come back and hit it. And I said, now you can hear it. You hear that? Dig that. He's like, oh, I said, there's just a way. That is one machine that I don't know that anybody else can do that. Deus, you can do that.
Yeah, that was very helpful because I could.
On.
Well, I liked it because I knew exactly. You were running your metal detector, and I just had a set of headphones on. But say, yep, hear that? That's what you're listening for. And I'm like, okay, now I got it. And you started working again. Oh, there's another one. You go, yep, and you dig it. We were just. It didn't matter what we were digging up. It was just the idea of being able to educate somebody else, because trying to tell them about a tone or a sound of a tone is very hard to do, or nuances is very hard to explain that to somebody. But if you have an extra set of headphones on there, my God, it makes it so much easier, and I believe in that a lot.
Yeah.
It's it's a good idea. I mean, we happened upon it. You said, well, you want to try it? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I guess I never really thought about it until you mentioned it again. That really helped me out understand, because Craig was using a Deus at the time too. And he was always telling me these items he was finding and the kind of tone it was and the nuance in it and this and that. So, but, it gave me a firsthand look at it, or, hearing it for the first time. Educational.
Yeah.
You always can learn something. None of us know everything. If you're not learning, then.
Yeah, there's no way to even begin that.
Mm-hmm.
The Deus was like one of the complicated machines when it first came out. It was had so many different controls that you could do, and different frequencies and whatnot. But now it's gotten kind of normal with the top end machines, where you can control a whole lot more stuff than you used to be able to do.
Yeah. Well.
Well, I mean, you can do different frequencies now. How many machines in the old days you could only do one frequency usually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that wasn't into the early 2000s, wasn't it, Craig? When I guess E-Track, MindLab started using multiple frequencies. I know White's did. I don't know if you could choose them though.
I started using the Explorer.
Yeah, Explorer
XS. I think in the early 2000s.
Right.
It might around early 2000s, and that after I was using that for a while, I gave up on the Nautilus. I don't even think I ever used it again.
Yeah.
It was I was doing so good with it, and I kept that all the way up until about 2012 or 13 when I got the Bliss Tool.
Right.
I got the Deus at the same time, because I was thinking about both those machines, and I got the Bliss first, but I still wanted to get the Deus, and I think Jim and I were some of the first people that had the Deus in the country. It was so new.
Right.
Yeah.
But
they have so many good machines out there too, and and Tim, we talk about this a lot, that nobody, I don't care how good you are, you can't just go take a metal detector out of a box and be perfect with it. There's just no, I mean, you or me or Craig or any of the guys on here, I can't, if you've never used even it doesn't matter, brand A, if you've never used one before, you can't go out there and know everything about it, because every machine it's got all, there's subtleties in all of them, and you got to spend some time with the machine, and you got to swing that machine a little bit to understand, and the presets help you, the presets do, but, until you can get your mind wrapped around what that machine's doing, and that's, like kind of what you ran into with the Deus and the Bliss Tool and stuff like that, it's just, every machine it can be so different, and, brands and models and stuff, and, so it's not uncommon. I mean, Craig and I I've had a knack for picking up machines and being able to pick them apart and figure out how they work and understand what's going on rather quickly. And that's what, I've always been able to do. That's what I enjoy doing. But, for others, it's a lot harder. But, when you spend, well, I bet you now you could probably pick up anything and within about a week or so probably know it pretty doggone good, because you know what to look for now. It's
no.
I give you credit, brother. Now
I got brain damage.
I think we all do, but yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, that's the way I look at it as far as machines go. I mean, they all have their good points, bad points, and everything. And once I've seen guys do amazing stuff with low end detectors. That we would consider low end detectors, but they're so doggone good with them, and they know that machine inside and out, and it just blows your mind when you see it happen, and they're digging stuff.
Oh, I've seen it,
yeah, but
well, it's funny, this hobby's weird, because sometimes you don't even need a great detector, if you're in
right.
I see some of these sites up in the New Hampshire and Vermont and stuff, up in the mountains, and it seems like nothing's real deep,
Yeah.
6 inches is deep. Some of the stuff, like large sense and stuff, like 2 inches,
Right.
So you really don't the machine doesn't matter as much in a place like that, but you get into a farm field or you get in the woods, that's when you start running into deep stuff because of the, stuff sinking in the ground or, in the woods, the leaves, start covering up the items. And it's amazing how deep some of that stuff is in the ground. You don't even know it's there sometimes when it gets picked over.
Yeah. And, and I remember, too, when I first started, man, if you were able to get a penny at 4 inches, 5 inches, you had a good detector. It seemed like, now, God, I mean, I'm digging pennies 14, 15, 16 inches down, and it just, and that's why these other, Tim mentioned it before, these hunted out spots, the technology that they were using at the time, you probably can go in there and make a killing at some of these sites now because, especially if they haven't been hunted and nobody's really gone in there for 10 or 15 years, man, sign me up for that because all the shallow junk is gone. Yeah, and that just leaves the deep stuff, So that that's all you say. Go from a different direction. And Craig does it too. Go to the very back of the property where people, maybe there was old shrubs there or something, they couldn't metal detect it. Now they're gone.
Right.
So I mean, it's, you got some good sites up there. I mean, I've hunted with Bill Marsh. He's right down the road from you. Well, down a little ways, but same way. We were out at a site with him. About, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us anyways. And God, man, he's digging, he dug a couple of reals and this and that and everything else. But the whole, where he was detecting at, it was all corn. And it was, we couldn't really get in there because it hadn't been harvested yet. And man, I tell you what, he's done really good in there. And, it's always nice to have that new site, man. It makes you feel, gets your adrenaline going. Gets your adventure going back in you.
Well, yeah. Well, and, one of the things I've been noticing with, and, because of what I remember Craig, I don't know why I wanted to say Craig, anyways, the thing was, remember we were always talking about whisper or ghost, tones?
Yeah, whisper
Most
tones.
People don't really, we'd be at a site, and you could hear it. Of course, you got the headphones on and you're listening, and it's just blimping. I mean, it's just there's no thing. I mean, no numbers, and it just sits there and it just makes a little, just something. There's nothing silvery sound of it or anything, just like a whisper, and you go and it repeats.
Yep.
And everybody say, well, it doesn't say iron, it doesn't say silver. It just has a blip. Well, I think that for a lot of years I didn't realize it, that we were missing those because it didn't really, so we didn't want to dig it. And, one day it kind of like the light came on. Mm-hmm. And I says, man, I'm hearing this thing, and I just can't, and that's that. And I remember that day, as big as I could be, I got a half nine, and it was one of those, it was a plus half nine.
Really?
1831. And it had went down about that 12, 13-inch depth with a 9-inch dais. And I never forgot. There were some of them that I had dug that were really deep, but most people didn't realize that little blip that was so small and defined, but yet most people would walk by it.
Right.
And, and it's just, certain things like that now and a lot of people aren't seeing some of the new deals with the dais. They brought the maybe a better coil, but they brought in a X35, which I think it's for a tool that is working for me is 11 by 13 coil, but you don't use that coil for every outing, but like a pasture or like a fairgrounds kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is going extremely deep, and it has a kind of a tendency to separate. some of the things, and you can almost kind of like pinpoint it. And I tell you what, I've gone through places that were definitely, well, here's how most people do. They think that, and this is a guy that hunts in fields. My lash predator tool that I have is 11 inches deep. I already got it in my mind. When I hit something, I'm digging an 11-inch hole, flip it out.
That's right.
If I go over it, it's deeper. If it's up on top, I know it's easier to take the plug out, get that item out, and then put the plug back in, a lot nicer. But if I do 11-inch hole, pick it up, and it's down there, and it's like, oh my, did it fall off the hole or did it straight in the middle? But, that's the thing. So I can't be 100% about everything about depth, but I know one thing. I dig pretty simple. You dig the hole, you kind of do it, flip it up, and, it's simple. So.
Yeah. No, you're getting a lot right. And by the way, Tim, hang on one second. There was another caller that tried to get through, and, of course, I wasn't going to interrupt Tim. I think it was a 915 area code. If you want to call back, that's fine. Just understand if we're in the middle of a conversation, we're going to let the conversation go, and then we'll get you in there. So, I knew you were there and everything, and you can hear the show over your phone or whatever, and we'll get right to you. So you can call back if you want to. But Tim was making some good points right there and wanted him to kind of continue on, and made a lot of sense. So, but yeah, Tim, digging these holes, Craig and I have talked about that. That's the one thing about, pinpointing your targets and stuff. And, when they get deep, when about how deep they are just by the signal it's giving off, there's certain ways to do it without having to use the depth pinpoint on Deus or whatever detector you're using, by lifting your coil off the ground, certain things to do, because all of us have scratched a coin or a nice item before, and you don't want to do that. So it's one of those things that every once in a while, and it's always a good target too. It's always, a silver coin or something like that. By God. Craig's neighbor did it with a breastplate. He found his first breastplate he ever found. He dug it up and he cut it in half with a shovel, slamming the shovel into the ground. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. That's my style right there now. So I make big, pretty good size holes now. I don't have to worry about it.
The day before I found my S&Y belt buckle, the first belt buckle I ever found, it's a friend of mine cut a medium U.S. buckle in half, which is a rare one, right between the S and the U.
It almost makes you want to cry when that happens. I tell you.
I know another guy that he hit the ground with his shovel, and then he checked the hole, and there was no signal. And he's like, what the heck? That was a loud signal, And he looked on the shovel, and there's a breastplate stuck to the shovel.
Oh, God. It breaks your heart, It's like, oh.
I've seen some crazy stuff over the years. People, really screwing up. The other thing is cleaning. One of the things that they don't really talk about is, you have these great finds, like, you find an Indian head. And I remember the first Indian head I ever dug, oh man, it was terrible, and I was like, oh man, I wanted a nice one,
Yeah.
And so I ended up ruining it even worse trying to clean it, and I think a lot of people go through that. You
well,
should
Tim
be
said
very careful when you clean, and like Tim did on the gold coin.
Right, that's what I was just going to say. Sometimes it's better not to clean the stuff.
I've actually kept, there's a technique called uncleaning, where you actually can take, like, olive oil and put it on, like, the high spots, and then put, like, dust or dirt on the coin, and actually it brings out the
details.
The detail more. Yeah. And I had a guy do that with two 12th New York buttons, which are pretty rare. It was like just for one regiment. I found a S&Y belt buckle at that spot also, so it was probably from the 12th New York. But it's it's you have to, after you've been in the hobby a while, you start realizing what you got to do with, sometimes it's better to, do it real slow and take your time, and maybe test the back like of a button, to see what it, clean the back instead of the front, a little bit to see what, it's going to look like, and sometimes you just leave it, it's just.
What's the character of the coil? I was going to say the character of the item, the patina on the item, the character, the dirt, whatever, it's, sometimes items are better like that, I think. I mean, it just shows the character of it. Why would you want to clean something all the way perfect, like a buckle or a bullet or whatever?
Yeah, then
it takes away from it.
I've seen people polish it till it's, with Brasso and stuff,
Yeah,
I've seen that with, a guy dug the first belt buckle, he didn't know. I mean, when we started, it wasn't any information,
Right.
Just information they got was from other people that you knew that had been in the hobby or, Treasure Magazine or something like that. There wasn't, there's almost too much knowledge now. You couldn't even, fathom all of it now because there's so much on the internet. It's actually a good thing, but it's totally different than what it used to be.
Yeah, Tim. I mean, I think you're on the right path with those gold coins. I wouldn't clean them either. I think it has the character, and it's the dirt from that can it was in or whatever, and it is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And, I think you're right about that.
It's all about what makes but there's no right or wrong for others. It's just that in the reasons of what you do, it just makes more character for myself, Bob. But yeah, what else was I gonna? Oh yeah, I don't know if everybody knows that the Pound the Ground. I mean, there's going to be an event in New York. You guys can check that out. I think the team is going to be over there. I know that I'm looking forward to see Dave Weiss and some of the people that I've never met. Like I've not met you, Craig, and sometime this year I said before I die I want to meet you. So, I mean,
yeah, I actually, I met Dave Wise up there at the Horsham hunt in Pennsylvania when we were there.
Yeah, Dave Wise, a good guy.
Yeah, he's one of the first people I met when we went to the meeting. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Tim, and the real deal about it is I met you. When I hunted with you, I still hadn't met Craig yet, face to face. Me and Craig had known each other for what, Craig, 3 or 4 years before we ever met face to face and shook hands. And here we are running a business together and everything else. And I'm, Craig's, been a good friend of mine since 2012. And I think it was 2015 when I finally went up there and we met and talked and hunted together and, shoot.
Well, it's like everybody said, you say, friends on Facebook, and you never never met them or anything. They're not really friends, but that's a bunch of bull. Tim and I kind of hit it off, a long time ago, and we used to talk for hours. And the same thing with Derek and I, that's how we, got to know each other. And then, just kind of went from there. But I met some of my best friends on the internet, it seems.
Well, like, I mean, Bill Marsh, Mark Hoover, Brandon Stewart. I mean, all these guys we've met, Dave Ettinger, and, talk about a lot of the guys that have Facebook pages and everything else. It's because of metal detecting we met, and we've all become, pretty good friends. I mean, they can call on me, I can call on them, and, it's nice to meet people face to face, but you don't have to, meet them face to face to be friends with them. I mean, heck, the internet's a beautiful thing in that aspect. Because hell, me and Tim hunted like we've been hunting for years. Just kind of going out there, and we're like minded. Everybody's like minded. They love the hobby. Actually, Bill Marsh, he put something up on here that made a lot of sense too. Tim is he said, I'm trying to get back to it, uncleaning it, Mark Hoover said, and then Bill Marsh turned around and said, sounds good till you think about the damage, then reintroducing it to oxygen, and it oxidizes it twice as fast, like a coin, like a penny. Clean it until it's nice and shiny, and it oxidizes right up and probably get worse. So, that's another thing you think about, are these buckles or buttons or whatever. You got to be careful. They're old and they'll damage them.
I've been using this Renaissance wax on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's this museum type wax. It's pretty expensive for a little, fixed jar looking thing, of it. But you just put it on your finger and rub it in. I had an Indian head penny that, was kind of discolored and stuff, and it just didn't look real good. And I put this Renaissance on it. Actually, can't remember the woman that Relicunt told me, try that. She said it's kind of weird. She said put it on there, kind of thick, and then let it dry, and then buff it. And I tell you, it brought out all the detail. It was unbelievable. Really made it look good, and it protects it. The museums and the top museums in Britain use this stuff to preserve, artifacts. So it's another tool that you can use, to keep your, you always want your stuff to look good, I've spent hours, on these two Hibernia coins that I found up the street. I kept brushing until I got the details out, and one of them is just unbelievable looking, and the other one I can almost see. I can't see it's 1730 something, but I can't see the last date.
But guys, Tim, I don't know if this question.
I know what it is.
No. The guy, this 915 area code, he actually messaged me through Skype, and he said that this gentleman, Evan, I think he's talking about you, Tim, what happens to be the address of his site? I don't know if but he's saying, my name is, oh no, he's given a name, Cameron Sullivan, by the way, and I love your show, and it's gotten me back into the detecting. Thank you very much, or thank you so much. So that's nice. Wow. I think he was kind of joking about it, but I don't think Tim's going to give you the address to his site, but I'm sure he'll hunt with you. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people out there that are getting back into the hobby. I've gotten some phone calls and some messages from a guy in California, Tim, that we were starting up the show, and he happened to call when me and Craig were kind of getting ready for the show. And I can't remember, it was a couple of weeks ago. And I said, hey, you mind staying on the line? He goes, sure. And we just kept him on the show the whole time. And he'd been metal detecting years ago and is thinking about getting back into the hobby and wanted to know how to get permission on sites and stuff and whether it was legal to hunt certain spots. And it turned out to be a whole show about him. And I'm trying to remember his name now. My brain is kind of having I have that CRS. Can't remember.
Wasn't it Brandon? Brandon,
I think his name was Brandon. I just can't remember. I'm horrible with names. Faces I remember forever. But yeah, it was nice to get. You can actually, Cameron, you can actually get on Spreaker.com and go to Hardcore Metal Detecting, and you click the comment button, and you can get right on here with chat on the chat side of it, and it'll take you right there, and you can just talk to these guys. There's all kind of people on chat, and that way. I don't know if Tim, are you on your computer or you're on your cell phone?
No, I'm just on the cell phone because I didn't really realize how to get in and out. So when I talk to Craig probably next week, I'll try to figure out how I get in and where I can do more high tech. I'm scaring myself about all this stuff, photography, and I've been going over to Apple. And Apple's trying to teach me to be dangerous with my phone, and so I mean it's been a really journey of some fun stuff and some sad stuff, but all at the same time. I wake up every day blessed that I could go metal detect any day, any time, and
Right.
But you got to keep on going. I'm trying to do everything.
Yeah.
I'm shooting sporting clays in a given day. I want to get my magnet out. I got my kayak. I got, I even had, I don't know if anybody that's seen my BB machine gun, BB gun that I got. Now, I just think that is the funnest thing I ever seen.
I haven't seen. You got a video on that, Tim?
Yeah, there's a video of and it is the coolest thing. And, it's just stuff like that. Enjoy every day that because, I'll be honest with everybody. You never know when your day is up.
That's right.
Coming from a guy that's had 3 strokes, triple bypass, lost my son, it's, a story that is, to be in a positive place.
Yes,
and
sir.
that's part of what this hobby is about too, every day, some people ask me some questions and stuff, and they think, well, and I don't really say too much about clay as much as I used to, but, there are Army Angels, and I don't know that most people know what the Army Angels and 13K mean. 13 is my son's 13, it was his jersey when he was a senior in high school, and K is my daughter, Kelsey, and so that's why I've always kind of did that 13K. And then the Army Angels is Ohio history, and everything that I did, I feel that is a feel that comes from digging somebody's, history, and then you dedicate your life to try to show how hard it was, wherever you was, whether it was Ohio or anything. I always feel like, there's a higher power in metal detecting.
There is, and it's brought me a lot of, joy over the years, and it's my place to, to go to run away to have fun. And, and oh, by the way, Pauline says hi, and she's glad you're doing better, and you're, the Team Deus thing and all that. She said she needs to call you one of these days. Yeah, she.
Oh yeah, hey, hi.
Yeah. But yeah, she said over. We're all seeming to go through stuff lately, and over the years and lately too, and it's tough. But metal detecting, that's your getaway, brother. That's the escape from it all. But hey, wait a minute here. We got him back here. I think it's Cameron. There, are you online? Cameron, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh,
Yeah.
Pretty good, brother.
Hey,
Sorry, my
Yep.
headphones kind of shitty, but
No, okay. Your voice sounds good. You got a good microphone on it and everything. Where are you at, anyways? What state or what country?
Lakewood, Colorado.
Lakeland, Colorado. Well, you got us live there. Are you doing any hunting, or you said you were getting back into the hobby, or thinking about getting into it?
Yeah, I actually had a kind of a crazy question. I have a White's Goldmaster.
Yes, sir.
It's a couple years old. Can I use it for like coin and relic hunting, or
What kind was it
just
again?
Specifically for the Goldmaster.
You can use it. I actually
White.
used the GMT. I think it was with.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Okay, yeah, you can use that. It's running on a 48 kilohertz. It's a higher frequency, which is usually for low conductors like gold. It does have VDI numbers, if I remember right, and I did use it for a little while. You would have to. What I would suggest you do is take it, make a little test garden for yourself, and bury some dimes, pennies to see how they're reading up on there. Obviously, it's going to find you stuff. You're going to be okay with it. And, as you go along with it, being in Colorado, I don't know where that is located, but I think they got gold in Colorado, so you might even find some gold.
Well, that's the thing. I'm probably about 20 minutes from the hills, and yeah, there's quite a few gold mines, and there's also a couple lost platinum mines and silver mines. And
that machine was designed to find gold. You said anyways. But yeah, you can find coins with it. You can find I can't remember the adjustments on it as far as I'm trying to replay my mind. It's been about 15 years since I had one of those machines, but yeah, you can find just about like relic kind of stuff all the time with it. Brass, copper, gold. You're running at a higher frequency.
You probably go on some sites on Facebook or something and ask some questions. I'm sure a lot of these guys probably had those machines before.
Now you can go to the White's Forum. I think the White's Forum is still up and running, and you can go to that. And they usually had a section for each of the metal detectors, like MXT, the DFX, and all that. And there'd be guys on there that can really help you out a lot more than I can, because I haven't used that machine a whole ton, but I know I did find I found part of a scuttled cannon with that machine, which I thought was pretty cool. Down here in Florida. So yeah, brother. I mean. And let us know how you're doing with it too. There's also aftermarket coils for that machine. If I remember right, you can get to them SiriusDetecting.com or Calico or whatever. You can get the SEF accelerator coils for that machine. Or Nell Coils may have one too. I'm not sure, but there's options with that machine. It's not a bad machine. So.
Right on. I appreciate it. And the reason I probably won't be getting any new coils for it, I've been listening to you fellas. I don't have money for a bliss tool yet, but with the Equinox, is that the 600 or the 800?
Craig's using the. Go ahead, Craig. Sorry.
I got the 800. The 600 has like 11 things that you can't do that the 800 does, but it's not that big a deal. You still got wireless. You just don't have like mine comes with the wireless headphones. And I think the increments between like the recovery speed and stuff like that, there's not as many increments, but it still goes, just as, it covers the spectrum, but there's no adjustments like in the middle as many. But,
okay, cool.
Oh, I do have something to tell you too, Cameron. Check your recovery delay on that GMT. I can't remember, you know how to do that? Just set a quarter down on the ground and run you were swinging. Okay, see where the beep is coming in at, because I can't remember if that's like the XLT or the XLT Whites, where if your coil would get all the way past it before it would sound off. It has a slow recovery delay speed. I don't know if the GMT is set up like that or not. So that's something you might want to check, just so so you're digging in the right spot. Essentially, you'll know that it'll vary your swing speed a little bit. We got to swing a little slower.
Gotcha.
Okay, just wanted to kind of throw that out there to you.
So it's worth it for the Equinox 800 is worth the extra $200 for sure.
If you want the wireless headphones and a couple more adjustments, that's up to you. My friend Mike has the 600, and he dug a Civil War bullet, foot deep with it. So, it's there's a lot of guys that think that the 600 is fine. It's just if you want to put extra 200 in, I wanted the wireless headphones. I wanted them to kind of match, right out of the box, and I like the machine. I put a Telenox fiber optics shaft on it, and it's a good machine. I like it. I'm thinking about getting the I think it's a 15 by 12 inch coil, but I like it. I keep fiddling with it in the yard, and I found stuff that the Bliss tool missed, and I just kind of do a tag team between the Bliss tool and the Equinox. Keep going over my yard, trying different programs, and it's I found a couple things, just amazing. Where I've gone over this thing with I think seven different machines now, and I'm still finding stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
I really appreciate all your time. And what was the website for your friend that sells the machines online?
I deal with Evan up there at SiriusDetecting.com.
Okay, cool.
And I know Calico. You can find these things around, but I've dealt with Evan. He's always treated me right, and he has a good business outlook. I think as far as dealing with people, he has most of the stuff on there, and but you can go anywhere, but it's just the person that I use.
Yeah, he also has a eBay site.
Yeah.
He actually was selling the Telenox, and I got it off eBay through there. So he's got like a warehouse you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
stuff.
He's always been straight up with me
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just good people, and he'll tell you he doesn't get out detecting as much, but it's nice. I needed somebody to a lot of new people getting into the hobby, and where do you refer them to? And I just happen to, I've done a lot of business with Evan, and I've done reviews for him and stuff like that. He's always been a straight shooter, so I don't have a problem. Go right over there and check it out, or look around a little bit. Ask some of your if you have some friends at Metal Detect, or online or whatever, and maybe somebody in Colorado that you can actually physically go to and check out stuff. I don't know if I'm sure that they have to have some kind of metal detectors over there in a shop or something. I haven't been there to metal detect before, but yeah, I mean you can physically go look at one of these Equinoxes, try it out or whatever, and see if it's something you want, or you may find another one you like too. So.
Well, here's the thing. I was debating between that and like an AT Pro, and from the reviews that I've read, the Equinox is like far, far, far better because the technology on the AT Pro is like 10 years old, correct?
Yeah, well, they have an AT Max.
Yeah.
I think the Equinox would be, if you're wanting that, I think it'd be a better choice. I'm not knocking the AT Pro at all, because there's a lot of AT Pros out there. I've used them myself. It is a technology thing. It's the Equinox is a lot newer technology wise, I think, and it really ultimately
a lot light.
Yeah, a lot lighter.
Heck, a lot lighter.
Yeah, your AT Pro is like 1.5 pounds to the coil side, which wears on your wrist quite a bit. But yeah, I mean that. I would try the Equinox. I haven't used one myself, but Craig loves it, and I trust Craig 100% on that. The other one I've used I've been using is the Quest, and it's pretty doggone good too. But I don't think you can get those in the U.S. very much. Maybe, but I heard they were going to stop shipping here. But the Equinox is probably the way to go right now. There's a lot of information out there about it, and people can help you out with it too. So.
Probably
I appreciate all the information and the love for me, fellas. I didn't mean to interrupt the show, and I'll continue listening. I'll call back as soon as I have some more time.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. You can call anytime.
Call in anytime. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I'll give you some updates with my finds with the GMT, but I'll definitely, my next paycheck, be getting the dice. So.
All righty.
All right.
Have a good day, man.
Talk to you later.
If he's still on the phone, hey, don't not look at an ORX. That's another machine. I'm not selling them, dang it. But hey, ORX, buddy, and it's a gold machine.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tim, when we talk about these machines on here, and he said he's obviously listened to us before, and he gets good information and everything, and a lot of the other shows too. We love all. I can't think of a machine I've actually. Well, I can think of a lot of machines I like. I've tested and stuff like that, and it's really. I mean, you can have, and I put it this way sometimes. You could have a $5 million metal detector, but if you don't know how to take the time to use it and don't learn it, you might as well have a $29.95 one. You know what I mean? So this guy sounds like he could probably run it. I think it's a Deus or a Equinox or whatever. It doesn't. He's in that price range. But yeah, it's a Deus. I like Deus.
Yeah, no, and when I'm on a show like this, I try not to get too much in anything. I had run an OR or a Equinox. I had an 800 Equinox, and I kind of got into where I've always been pretty much, once I've gotten into Deus, I've kind of stayed with it. Now, I will say one thing, even though that I am a Team USA, member of the team, I also don't run anything other than Deus.
Right.
Not because I'm, either or that. But one of the things that I had noticed, and I never knock anything, that's not us.
Right.
Even Deus would never say anything. Just make sure apples to what you're wanting to metal detect for, and where are you going, and a lot of the machines now, they have, different, deals to, give you a new, what do I want to say? Brain damage is one of those things. You get another, like if you want to get another version, and
right.
you can get it put in the version. And, that's a great thing. Now, I'm not selling, but a lot of people don't realize that the ORX is a less expensive machine, but they can run an X35 coil and the MI6, which I tell you, if you get in and look at our stuff with the MI6 with an ORX setup, it is kick butt.
Yeah.
Because you can, when you pinpoint it, it's got so many different ways. I mean, I'm digging stuff out of with the sight because, like, say you got a hole and you push that, it's got about a 2-inch. You can kind of adjust that, but it is really, and it's right in your headphones, and it's just it's so nice to do.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in an area, and you can definitely. But anyways, I'm not selling. I just, you need to look at some of that stuff too. Which,
And Tim, we're this show has always been unscripted. We just tell it the way we see it and know it. And, our opinions do change over time if we find something out about another detector or whatever, but you don't ever have to censor yourself, other than cursing. You don't have to censor yourself. You just, all these guys on there, all these people are listening want the real information. They don't want,
right.
They don't want, this, they expect the truth out of us, and, our credibility is everything, and you just tell it the way it is, and that's okay. And that's cool.
Yeah.
We're amongst friends.
Yeah, that's credibility. Yeah,
yep.
That's what it is. And if I think that I can get more fines and enjoy something, obviously I'm going to try to keep in the direction of doing it the right way,
yep.
and understand. Now I know that I've talked a lot, and I hope that everybody get out there and have the dream come true, and be thankful every day that you get a chance to go out and go metal detecting.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things I really know that we need to start helping out is to get these kids involved in fun stuff.
Absolutely.
Metal detecting, getting out there and doing, not sitting in the house and playing. I know there's so much politics going on. I don't get in it, but one thing that I know is get these kids out and enjoy the hobby. And I remember when I was a kid, I just wanted to go be in coins and stuff, and that was how I got into metal detecting. I was collecting coins, and I wanted to enhance my ability to buy, actually get coins and get my first set of Lincoln cents. That's how I started.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, I'm glad to talk to you guys. Hope everybody, and I'll see you guys again. And I'll talk to you, Craig, and we'll get so I can get in there and listen to the podcast too. So, all right,
Tim.
Well, that's what you're on now.
Yeah, he just called in, but yeah, we'll get you on there, Tim. And you call anytime, brother.
Okay.
I mean, it's nice hearing from you. I hadn't heard from you in a while, so.
Yeah. Yep. I'll be talking. All right, guys. See ya.
All right. See you later, Tim. Craig, I was saying, thinking to myself earlier, for a show that started up so rough, it sure didn't turn out that was nice to hear from Tim. I hadn't heard his voice in a long time. I know he has all this stuff going on and he's having fun and everything, and that's nice to hear. And then, Cameron calling in and all the guys on chat over here. I don't want anybody to ever think that they have to censor themselves on our show. We just, people want to know the real deal, what we think, what you think about detectors, which ones are working for you. And, it gives them more information to make a decision on what they want to do. And he brought up the kids too. I mean, I say guys, guys in a hobby, whatever, that's men, women, kids, whatever, because we have listeners, I'm sure, at least I showed on my analytics that, they're, 10 to 18 years old. I mean, we have some in the 20s, 30s, and we have all spectrum of people that listen to the show and everything. And some people are starting out. Some people have been hunting forever. That's what I've always, I think Craig wanted it too, for a show to kind of be able to help the regular person, get into the hobby or continue in the hobby to the best they can. It's your treasure adventures, really. It's a little treasures beneath your feet.
Everybody wants to know, it's like new information about the new machines coming out,
Exactly.
People want to know whether it's, they're going to put, $600 or $800 or $900 into a machine or more. You want to get good information,
Oh, absolutely.
Before you think about it. But that's what I like about it. I'm always looking for information on something new in metal detecting, whatever it is. But it's kind of exciting because I think there's a lot of competition now that's going to push these machines. I'm already seeing it. I mean,
yeah, it's going to push the limits.
See all these machines got wireless headphones now. Most of them are coming out, waterproof.
Yep.
They're coming out lighter, a lot lighter.
I always say they can engineer any kind of metal detector, Craig, but to engineer a metal detector that is user friendly, that's what they've been doing, all along. But, something on paper may look great, but the people using it and what we need, lighter machines, deeper penetrating machines, better unmasking capabilities, the different size coils, and it leads into, like the digging tools and pinpointers, and, there's all this information, and there's no, until they talk to somebody in the hobby or online, a friend or whatever, we'd like to be that friend that can kind of, lead you in a good way, on a path that's going to help you make the right decision for you. I mean, and if, metal detectors are like, there are so many of them, and then trying to get information about a metal detector without having to deal with the sales part of it, that gets tricky. I mean, I'd rather get my information from somebody like Bill, Mark Hoover or whatever. If they own a machine or they've used one or tested a machine, what do they think about it? Not what a salesman thinks about it, because if he hasn't been a detectorist, if he's not a hobbyist, and I'm not knocking him by any means, but the information you want to know, you want to get from somebody that has experience with these machines, and or at least can point you in the right direction. And that's what we're all about, and we've been doing this for a long time. Getting the kids involved, absolutely great idea. A 10, 11, 12-year-old boy or girl, what's bigger than to look for lost pirate treasure? To dig in the ground and find stuff. I never cared. If I found something cool in the ground, man, I tell you what, I was digging more holes. I didn't have a metal detector, so I had to, luck out, till up the garden. I'll start finding clay pipe pieces and pottery and everything else. I'm grabbing all this stuff out of the ground. I thought it was the coolest thing. I didn't have a metal detector at all, but, kids need adventures. They need good adventures, not internet, not video games, all this stuff all the time. They can get outside and have fun, get exercise, and heck, they might make a killer find and they'll be hooked. It's the best addiction you'll ever have in metal detecting. And it's, I guess, the safest. Well, I don't know if it's the safest, though, Craig, is it? The addiction part? We're hooked on it. We know that.
Not for your wallet, but Other than that, it's pretty good.
Well, the only thing I thought,
you get exercise.
Yep.
You know, you definitely get exercise. I mean, a lot of people, you know, you get tired. You know, if you're finding something, you keep going until you're dead. You know?
And it leads into so many things. I mean, I know Craig has done it for you too. You know, I never thought when I bought my metal detector, you know, my first metal detector, that I'd be, you know, making videos and reviewing metal detectors and working on metal detectors and, you know, going to Bulgaria and learning how to work on them and doing a radio show. A podcast radio show and everything. This hobby leads you into so many good directions and you meet so many good people. And that's priceless. You can't put a price tag on that. You know, and I know it's done it for a lot of you guys out there too. I mean, we got guys on chat right now that make stuff for the hobby. You know, photography and bottle hunters and prospectors and, you know, all these outdoor activities, but it's all, you know, it's treasure hunting, it's adventure. And I crave it, man. There's so many things that I want to do in this hobby, Craig. And, you know, the only thing that's holding me back really is the money part of it. It does get expensive, but the benefit and the rewards to me being able to save some history, get a little bit dirty digging it out of the ground, finding cool stuff, I mean, and making a bunch of friends, what could be better? You know, that's fun, not work. So,
yeah.
But at any rate, guys, I guess, you know, Craig probably wrap it up for tonight. You know, Tim Glick, you can, you know, I'm sure it's Tim Glick on Facebook. I'm sure he has his Facebook page.
Yeah.
What is he running as far as YouTube channel? Because I don't care what he says. I want you guys to check out his stuff because Tim's a good guy.
He's putting them on the XP Deus Team America site.
Team USA or Team America?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, you could check out his stuff. And like and follow, follow whatever you got to do. Subscribe to his channel because Tim, you know, he's like us. You know, we get into all this electronics and trying to make videos and post them up. Show him some love and subscribe to his channel. You know, Tim's a good guy, and you know, most of you guys on here know what that's like too. You know, trying to like and follow everything you can with people that are in the hobby, and be supportive. You know, a supportive friend out there. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And I know he says he ain't selling nothing, which he isn't. But his you know, the stuff that he tells us, the adventures he's having, heck yeah, you know, I'll sign up for that. So,
yeah, he doesn't sell, but he definitely promotes you know, the machine,
right.
And that's fine. I mean, I helped him out, you know, years ago, and that's how we, you know, got to know each other pretty much. And he was running the E-Track at the time, but you know, it's I think it's cool that actually, you know, the company in France wanted Tim, that they picked him to be a
That's
member.
cool.
So
that's cool.
I thought that was pretty good because of his story and everything, and plus he's been, you know, pretty much on Deus for about 6 years, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, people like, you know, like, well, I see on here tonight, I keep on mentioning, I mean, like Bill Marsh, or O'Hara Hunter, Mark Hoover, and, you know, there's several of them on here. I can't really get back here too far. Gavin, you know, he's newer to the show, but Gavin's, you know, been a wealth of information too, you know, and they love the hobby, you know, and that's what it's all about, like-minded people. And a lot of them too, you know, like I see on here, you know, like when Loy's on here with Relics Radio, you know, Beyond Sight and Sound with Josh Kimmel. I mean, we all do a metal detecting show. Everybody has a different format, different way they do it. Some have more guests than they do, you know, discussion or vice versa, but it's up to them. They're having fun with what they're doing, same way we do. So, you know, I'd like to see everybody like and follow those shows. And, you know, following, it doesn't mean a whole lot to, I guess, just regular Joe. You don't think much about it, but when you see you have followers, it does make, at least you know, you're putting out there something that people want to hear, that they appreciate it. That's the way I look at it. That's why I follow a lot of this stuff for Instagram or Facebook. You know, Craig, I had to put the Instagram down for a little while, the phone down, because I'm over here. I liked all the stuff from Europe and all these different countries. These guys are posting up all these great finds. I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh, that's cool. You know, give it a heart or whatever it is on there. And before you know it, I spend about 2 minutes on the phone or on there, and I'm on there for an hour, and then I end up starting conversations with people that in these other countries and stuff like that. And that's a pretty cool thing. How many hobbies can do that? Make a bunch of friends from all around the world.
I think Instagram is pretty cool. It's not a lot of drama and stuff like Facebook.
Yeah, I'm still learning it too, so bear with me, guys. That Instagram is making me want to pull my hair out because I just don't understand all of it yet. I will get it as I use it. I get frustrated because, I start learning stuff on it, Craig, and then I'll start having a conversation with somebody. And of course, I forget all about learning anything else. I'm just sitting there talking to somebody. But thanks for liking and following the show. We're going to wrap it up for tonight. We're on every Thursday and Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our regular metal detecting talk, if you I usually call it that. And we are doing a new shows on Mondays, Wednesdays, Mondays and Fridays for sure at 7 a.m. in the morning. And we're trying to get Wednesday. And I did have major router problems. That's the reason we didn't do a Thursday night or a Friday morning show. It wasn't my computer, just the router. I had to have it replaced. Craig knows how pissed I was about it, but it happens. But that's the reason why we weren't on Thursday. I think I did from my cell phone, did a archive show, and I can do that from my cell phone. But as far as having Craig on to do a regular show, it gets a little bit more tricky when you're trying to do a cell phone deal. So, but yeah, we're usually on every Thursday and Saturday night, and then Mondays and Fridays for sure at 7 a.m. Coffee with Derek and Craig. So it's kind of a half an hour show, and we try to keep right to it. I think we're doing pretty good about keeping within a time restraint, and it's more topic based. We try to stick to one topic instead of multiples. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. You know us. We just let the show take over and let it take a path of its own, and that's what makes it fun for us. So. But Craig, I'll talk to you after the show. Guys, thanks for listening.
All right.
Guys, get a chance. Get out there. Keep digging. God bless.